Hi, this is David Carver from the Fred Hayes test stand at NASA's Stennis Space Center. Here on the Fred Hayes test stand, we're testing the RS-25 engine for the SLS program. Right now we're in between RS-25 tests here on the test stand, so we're getting caught up on maintenance and upgrades. One of the projects we just finished upgrades on is the thrust vector control system. The thrust vector control system is the mechanism that allows us to gimbal the engine during flight. Gimbaling the engine allows us to steer the vehicle during ascent. So to test the TVC, or the thrust vector control system, we use what's called a mass simulator. This beast right here. The mass simulator is designed to be the approximate size and shape of the RS-25 engine, as well as it weighs about 8,000 pounds, which is the approximate weight of the RS-25 engine. We use this to check the control system to make sure that we don't have any clearance issues between the engine and the test stand, and we also use it to make sure that the timing and the responses from the system are correct. If you look up to the top there, you'll see the two hydraulic actuators. Those are the two workhorses for the thrust vector control system. That's what pushes and pulls the engine to essentially create the thrust vector control, or direct the thrust in a particular direction. As you can imagine, when you point the thrust in one direction, it causes the engine to push the vehicle in the opposite direction. The recent upgrades we completed to the thrust vector control system were performed to increase its speed when returning from a gimbal angle out at, say, 6 degrees back to the null position. The null position is when the engine is pointing directly down. We did this to make sure that if we ever encounter any failure scenarios during hot fire tests, we have enough speed in the system to get back to home before we cut the engine. This is important because if we cut the engine while the engine is gimbaled out to, say, 6 degrees, it could cause potential damage from shutdown transients to the engine or the nozzle. The next step for us here on the Fred Hayes test stand is the upcoming RS-25 certification test series scheduled for later this year.